What's up guys, my name is Your Heroes and welcome back to more Gates of Hell, and today I'm going to be talking about one of the most important and most really good changes to the multiplayer lobby and gameplay, and especially because of how important it is, it will actually probably dictate the way that how the battle will end, whether it will be a win or a loss. Now, I'm not going to be going through this whole open beta change logs because it'll take too long, but there's one that I really want to talk about. That is the added Doctrine preview page into multiplayer lobby. Now, as you know, this is still in the open beta that actually hasn't been released to the game yet, which is kind of weird because I thought they said they'd be released on the 20th. And now, as of recording, it's the 22nd, so there must be some sort of delay with the update. But as far as I'm aware, it is still in the open beta. There'd be no point in me describing it to you. It would be better if I actually showed you. So let's go in to detail about this, and I'm going to be showing you how you can use this to your advantage and what to look out on for the battlefield as well as for the multiplayer, and how to use it for the AI as well. So let's get straight into it. Here we are. So we are in a multiplayer, we're in a multiplayer lobby, we are in the battle zone, and we can go up against the AI. So it doesn't just work for, you know, player versus player, it works for AI as well. And what you can do is, once you have picked your nation, such as USSR, you will have to change, you can keep it standard or change the game settings if you want, but I usually like to change it to probably mid or early just for its realism. But as you can see, that beside the Doctrine section there is a wee there's a tank and there's an artillery logo with a wee eye information logo on it as well, which will tell you all about the Doctrines. Now, as you can see, that when we looked at the Doctrines before, it was just named all around, defensive, irregular, offensive, lend-lease and support, and we had no idea what these Doctrines included for units wise, because all round you would think, you know, maybe all round units, defensive and offensive. You've got your defensive, so mainly you think maybe it's just units that are, you know, defense, such as a lot of artillery possibly, and even tank destroyers. Irregular, to us, I had no idea what irregular is. To us, that could have been anything. Offensive might have been like your heavy tanks, your medium tanks, your assault troopers, everything. And your lend lease, which was actually pretty easy to understand, which was the lend lease, the lease of allied tanks, such as the M4 Shermans, the Churchills, all of that. And of course you have your last one, which is support, which is your Scorch DLC, which I think has actually just recently been added in because I've not seen this before. On the overhaul, you will want to understand what this is, and in this video I'm going to be showing that. So let's say you want to do your all round, which covers your offensive, your defensive, your regular, your lend lease, no, actually not lend lease, but just the overalls, which is your defensive, irregular and offensive, even though they are slightly different units. So as you see, I'm going to pick all round. Now I want to know what my all round units include, so I'm going to click this information here, and as you can see, I've now been given a preview of what this all round Doctrine is. So as you can see, it starts from your infantry, working all the way down to your singular units, all the way to your anti-tank guns and mortars, from your trucks such as supply, fuel trucks, and also you have the tanks as well, tells you all the tanks are available. And then the special one, which is the most important one to remember, which is your special, which is kind of like this Doctrine here. So the way you can tell the difference between all of them is that nothing's actually going to change between all of these sections here, besides maybe the lend lease and possibly the irregular, which are slightly different. As you can see, we've got the conscripts, rifle squad, recon squad, rifle squad, and so on. But when you go onto the defensive one, you can see that they're actually different. So even though I said that these units are still the same, they're actually completely different, which is my mistake. So you can see that you actually get a whole different aspect to what your Doctrines are. So you can see that there's actually less options for defensive than your all round, but you can see like there's a wee defensive one, the wee defensive logos, and then you've got your recon, your I, which stands for your recon, your scout, And then you've got your, I think the singular troops actually stay the same, if I'm correct in saying that. Yeah, it stays the same. The special units, these guys stay the same, but the artillery, the AT guns, the trucks, the tanks, they all are different. So that is what you need to look out for. And as you can see I'll show you the all-round one. Sorry, I keep going back and forth, but you can see the actual difference between them. And with the AT, you can see you have like your maximum, your machine guns, a couple of AT guns, mortars, and so on. And then with your trucks, you have like your Scout one, you have the ZIS trucks, and an armored car you can use as well. And then for your tanks, you have the toughest one, which is the KV1, also the T35 M1936, T34s, and so on and so on. But when you look at the bottom one, this is your special units. Now I would highly recommend that you go through this carefully and you don't just rush and decide, right, I want to do offensive because it's an offensive mission. Pick carefully, because offensive might not be the right doctrine to choose for an offensive attack. And I know that sounds a bit crazy, but look through your options, because this really gives you an idea of how the battle will go on. Now unfortunately what you can't see is what the enemy have picked, what the AI has picked, I'm afraid. So when you pick the AI, as you can see here, you can't actually pick to see what they have, which is kind of a shame, because it would have been nice to see what the enemy doctrine have, but then again you're just kind of cheating at that point, which is why the doctrine is only set for you, so you can only see the stuff that you have. And when you go around all of them, so I'm going to I'll do them one by one. So you've looked at the all-round, which has got your SU-152, you've got your 122mm, you've got your a 2x T34 and some infantry, you've got your 122mm, you've got BT-7A, a BT-5, and all that, and an AA gun. When you go into the defensive one, you will see the massive difference. You will see down at the bottom here, it's completely different. You now have a 203mm artillery piece, 152 artillery piece, 85mm AA gun, a BM, I presume that's a truck that has a 85, that's got a ZIS-6 gun on it, a ZIS-30, a 120mm mortar, and some big ass guns as well. You've got motorized sappers as well. For the tanks, I'm pretty sure the tanks, I think, stay the same as well. You can see that the KV1 there is still there, and the T35M is there from the all-round doctrine. So you can see that the tanks and the fuel stay the same, and I believe the mortar stay as well the same. So when I'm actually saying this, I'm pretty sure that when you look at a regular, you can see that the infantry is different, but the AT guns here and the trucks you get here and the tanks are all the same. So the only things that will change are the infantry, the special units, and I believe, and that's it. So the infantry and the special units, and that's it. That's the only thing that changes. And as you can see with the irregular, you have some flamethrower tanks here, you have a 300mm BM rocket artillery, you've got SU-100Y, you have an impalement, which is, I think, is some sort of rocket launcher on a stand. You've got a yak bomb, you've actually got a plane, and you have an airstrike as well. So you can see the actual differences between them, and that's why I think it's absolutely crucial that you look at this before you go into battle. Even though once you've decided the map you wanted, and whether it's going to be whether it's taking flags, because in in battle zones, it's all about capture the flag mostly. So when you're doing this, you don't have to just pick all round just because you're capturing a flag, or when you're doing offensive because you're capturing a flag, because you're kind of doing both at the same time. You kind of want to test about, which is why I think this is probably one of the best additions they've added to this game, especially to the multiplayer lobby, and just messing about to see what you've got. And this also helps you learn what units you have available to you when you go into battle. And this is why I think, props to Bar Studios. Again, just one of the best additions they've added to this game. It helps you understand clearly what units you have, as well as making sure you want to take that Doctrine into battle, because as I said before, that when you're before, like, you didn't have this option, so you didn't know what units you would spawn into. All you just knew that all round Doctrine was possibly units that were kind of offensive and defensive, and that's about it. And then you've got your defensive, which is mainly just defense, which it still is, but you couldn't see the units, you didn't know what you had. And then of course when you go to the Lend-Lease one, you can see that it's all British, it's all, you know, Lend-Lease from the Allies. And I believe they added tanks such as the M3 Lee, the M3 Stuart, and I believe they added an M4A2 Sherman, I think, which they've added to the Lend-Lease program. And as you can see here, the conscripts, you've got Marine Rifle Squad, which I think are Americans. Marines are Americans, which is good to see. But then again, I don't know if I'm correct in saying that. I could be completely talking out my arse here. There you go, guys. That is hopefully a good explanation and good understanding of how to use this Doctrine information sheet. And of course with your Doctrine, the only way you'll be able to get the support one if you have the Scorched Earth DLC, so make sure you have this. And this allows you to have special tanks such as a T50, the shielded T34, a political officer. Why the hell is there a political officer in the game? What's it going to do? Talk my ears off on debating whether we should live or not? I don't get the reason for a political officer. Is that just is that basically just a nowadays politician but just moved back in the 1950s? Instead of just talking, it's all just guns and blazing. I don't quite understand that one. But then you have, of course, the main KV1, and you have the KV8, which is just a KV1 but with a flamethrower. You can see this one is a special one, but as long as you have the Scorched Earth DLC, you'll have it at your disposal. So there you go, guys. I hope that really did answer hopefully all your questions about this. If you have any more questions you want to ask, leave them down in the comments down below. But that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching and all your support, and I will see you in the next video. See you later and goodbye.